Paramerican Radio starts right now.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Paramerican Radio after the longest hiatus that we've had in a long time. It's been about a month since we filmed in Nashville. When we did our little on-tour Paramerican Radio. We were out on the road promoting certain NOFACE. Definitely the craziest tour we've ever been on, the biggest tour we've ever been on.
Month and a half.
And as awesome as it was, I'm glad that it's over. Tours are always like those things where you cannot wait to get on them, and it's so fun when you get on them, but like any job in the world, after about 2 weeks, it starts becoming work. Yeah. I love it. I love everything about it, but man, that was a long time to be away. Well, you know what's weird about it? I start missing creature comforts, man. I start missing my puppy, like little things around your house, just the way you do shit in your home, you know what I mean? And not having that. And I shouldn't even whine. I mean, I get the back of the bus, so I mean, I actually have a little living area. But yeah, man, it was a trip. You know what I thought there'd be? I thought there'd be, because these are some of the biggest crowds we've ever played for. Yeah. Just by sheer numbers alone, I thought there'd be more weirdos, man. I didn't really run into any.
First date, we had some odd comments in Austin. Outside of that,
I only had one odd comment, and that was hilarious.
Can you see me?
Yeah, well, that was pretty weird too. By the way, everybody, that is the voice you hear chiming in is Tinder Steve. He is back with us and hidden because we have a guest, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, let me tell the two weird stories on tour. In Austin, the guy got up and he said,
I just saw this documentary coming up when I was browsing my Facebook feed 2 weeks ago, so I'm very skeptical of what's going on here. So I don't know if anyone else is skeptical of me. But I see a notion of pre-conditioning happening here. So one of the biggest things I saw was that flashing light. And with your intro movie and throughout your entire documentary, you always had a flashing light conditioning.
This is a part of NOFACE where this was happening in the building with Craig. These flashes were going off. And because I used flash transitions, he thought it was a conspiracy to make everybody believe.
Dude, you never stop and think of yourself as the they. They are manipulating us.
Yeah.
They are.
Remember, I just took the total high road because I didn't know how to respond to him. He was a very long question. He was like, you used flashes here, and you used flashes here, and then the ghost magically flashes. So are you using that to set us up? And I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, no. And he says, no. Like I'm lying, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I'm not lying, dude. That was weird. But the other weird one was in Oakmont. It was Pittsburgh. We had a VIP guest that I thought was fine throughout the whole thing. She's a sweetheart to me. And I'm not even going to say anything bad about her, but she asked the weirdest question at the end of the night. She basically said, I've been waiting all night long to ask you and Justin a question. I'm like, what's the question? And she leans forward and looks in my eyes and she goes, do you see me? I'm like, huh?
That's serious.
And she's like, do you see me? Yeah, I see you. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like all she said, it's the weirdest thing, man. Did she ask you the same question?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, man. Some people, I don't know, man. I don't know what level they're at, Maybe she's at the whole next level.
But if you think about it, having 300, 400, 500, 600 people a night, to only have 2 stories on the whole tour, that's way low.
Oh, yeah.
That's way low. That's way low comparatively usually. Usually every 30 people, you have one that's a little, an odd duckling in the group. But no, I thought it was pretty chill, man. So, I don't know. How'd you feel this morning when you woke up and the tour was over?
Good. It's weird, dude. I was saying before, it's like when, that whole thing, like if you have to do something straight for like 20 to 30 days to form or break a habit.
Yeah.
And that's because you get conditioned as a person, right? And people would think like, I could never live without this person. I'm telling you, man, the human psychology is frail. You pull 2 people apart, you separate them for a duration of time with no contact.
They can live without them.
You got a whole new world going on.
Yeah, right.
And a month later, dude. And it's like so weird. You would think, really? That's how fragile we are?
That's how I felt this morning when I woke up. Honestly, when I woke up, I was first like, what do I do right now? You know what I mean? Like, it took a minute to kind of realize how did I fill my days when I wasn't on a tour bus? You know what I mean? And yeah, it definitely was a weird thing, you know. So, but I'm glad we're back here doing this. I was really surprised how many people on tour were into Paramerican Radio. Tinder Steve had many fans, I saw.
Yeah.
There were many people came up to me and said, "Is that Tinder Steve?" You know?
That one lady sitting there talking, she's like, "Oh my God, are you Tinder Steve?"
Yeah, I know. Which was super cool. It made me obviously want to just do this more. So we came right back here, and we actually booked a friend of Tinder Steve's to be on our show. Somebody who I'm a big fan of. Mr. Chet LeBaron is here with us. Many people out there know you as CHERDLEYS.
Yes.
From your YouTube and Facebook videos. Where, if people don't know CHERDLEYS, describe CHERDLEYS for me. Who is CHERDLEYS?
CHERDLEYS is just a conglomeration. I don't even. That's like a weird question. I guess it's like a conglomeration of characters. There's like the main one whose name is Cheb, and there's Chet, and there's Dad, and there's like a few other like random characters, but everyone knows Cheb is like the main one.
Oh, Cheb, that was a funny joke you said. I know, right?
Hey boys, what the fun are you doing? We're three wild and crazy gals. We're gonna have some heck of fun.
Pipe down! What's today?
It's Saturday.
Cold. Ouch. And Saturday's for the boys. So fudge off! Get the fuck out of my way! Bring it! Get the fudge out of here! Get out of here!
Where did CHERDLEYS come from?
CHERDLEYS was like a nickname in high school. My sisters gave me, and then just people just kept calling me Cherd. And then, cause I was like, don't call me Chad, just call me Cherd.
Now, Cheb is the one with the arms out and wears the pants up high.
Yeah, I noticed that they all kind of have their arms out.
They do kind of, yeah.
It's so ridiculous, and like I'm like, yeah, I don't know why they all look so stiff and weird.
Well, what's really crazy is I was a huge fan of your stuff, and your roommate was Andrew Hales.
Ote. Go hard AF. Fleeky.
And most YouTubers, I can't stand. I like know them all because it's kind of part of my world to know what's going on. You know what I mean? So I like watch a lot of the stuff just to keep up. And oddly enough, Steve comes over one day and says, "Hey, you know, I'm shooting for some footage for this guy, you know," and he showed me your video, and I was just like, "Oh my God, dude! I totally." I know CHERDLEYS, I know LAHWF, I know all this stuff, and I was like, I could not believe that the only two dudes that I really like and watch, because we've watched your guys' videos on tour, late night, all the time. Like, it was always entertainment. We were on the road, and we're looking for something to watch to just laugh.
Wank material.
So, and I've jerked off to you.
I know. We know it gets lonely on tour.
It gets lonely, man. It gets lonely. And, I'm not on Tinder, so I can't be with Steve, so.
Is that why it's called? Just because you have a Tinder?
He rocks it. He rocks it.
Are you, like, good at it?
He goes on dates, throughout the tour. He was going on dates with different girls in different cities.
Dang.
So
Okay.
He's the man.
You know what's funny? People represent differently when you see them on camera as opposed to meeting them.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, my initial thought right away is, you play like a nerd, right?
Yeah.
But you're not really a nerd. But
Yeah,
I was
not really.
honestly expecting to see that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's huge. I said the first thing. The Cheb character, like, I thought, I don't know why, but I thought you would be similar to this guy until I seen you're chatting with Andrew. And I was just like, holy shit, this dude is an actor. You know what I mean? Because you're nothing like that character.
Yeah.
And it comes off so natural. So, I mean, tell me, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? You know, how did you get involved in this game? Like, how did you start making videos, all that stuff? Kind of give me the rundown of who are you.
Yeah. I grew up in, like, Newport area, and then, like, I was there for, like, 7 till I was 7, and then we moved to, like, Murrieta, which is, like, in Riverside area. It's, like, a small town. And then yeah, I just like would make like random videos like with like my cell phone, like with like cousins and stuff, and like no one wanted to be in it besides I would like force them to like do it with me, you know? And then they were like so dumb and like they didn't make like any sense, and like up until just like recently I started trying to make them make more sense, which they still kind of don't make that much sense all the time.
But is it the same general theme where you're kind of playing a nerd? Is that like a...
No, that Cheb kind of was born like a year and a half ago or something. I just made like a random video, and like his only quirks were that like he like stood weird, his face was kind of like just like disgruntled, and like he didn't feel comfortable in his skin, and like he would talk like dramatically. That was like his only quirks. And then like he kind of developed into like this like nerdy like dramatic guy that he is now, and like yeah, and then like the film style of it kind of molded around his personality, like it's all like dramatic and like 80s feeling and stuff like that, so like it all kind of molded around him. And then like there's like the frat character and like the dad, which like this has the same kind of style, and like they both have like the same kind of mindset. They're just like different people, like they all like they're all just really dramatic, and like they have existential crises usually, or like they're just so like they're so in their own like world, and they think they're just like melodramatic, I guess.
I can see why Chad liked it right away, because he's always liked like comedians or people who critique social norms, like Sasha.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just have one word to sum up your position.
Let's say commitment.
Virgin.
Nobility.
Jesus. Safety.
Mine is peace. So let's try and do that into something. Peace. Your nobility. Yeah. Check it. 'Cause Jesus in it is commitment.
Okay.
Peace. Just thought that out, just like that, because I didn't know what your words was going to be beforehand. That just was at the top of my head.
Yeah, I just like uncomfortable comedy. Period. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I love Sacha Baron Cohen. I love the different characters that he played and how they would make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think I just liked the character Chet because like part of you feels bad for him, like when you're watching him. Like you don't. It's that person that you all laugh at quietly. You know what I mean? You just kind of feel bad for him, you know, because he represents the things that a lot of people have, which is the insecurities towards girls wanting to be more than what he is. When something doesn't work for him, he acts like, I don't care, didn't want it anyways. Like that type of stuff, you know what I mean? Like the excuses that people make to themselves. I just thought it was a great character. Out of all the characters, is Cheb the most popular one that you do, you think?
Yeah, he's the most popular and like the most fun to do, and like he's so weird, but he's also like the most relatable in a sense.
Yeah.
Because like he could attach onto any meme, he could like do anything really,
right?
And it'll work. Just because like he's so like nerdy and weird that like whenever he does something, people are like, oh, this is so me, even if it's so far from like what they would do. Like if he's like trying to hit on a girl and it's just not working out, or like something, people are still just like, oh, this is me, or whatever, you know.
Well, for those who haven't seen this character, we're going to cut to him right now so people could see a little bit of Cheb.
Hey everyone, Cheb here. For those of you who haven't smoked weed before, you're probably nervous to bits. You're probably shaking in your shorts. You're probably scared out of your doggone mind. But guess what? You're not alone. Don't you hate when this happens to you? Wow, it's a beautiful day today. Oh, hello, best friend.
Cheb, hello. I'm sorry, I can no longer be your friend. I smoke weed now.
What?
I'm gonna go hang out with my cool stoner friend.
What a shame. I wish that didn't happen to me. What a shame. 10 out of 9 college students that haven't smoked marijuana say, I could be cool if I smoked marijuana. Today I'm going to be answering the question that's been on everyone's mind. Is it easy to become a cool stoner? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to. blaze it up.
When you first came up with this character, I mean, is there a time that it takes you to work them out? Does these characters get better as time goes by?
Yeah.
And you find that's something that happens with all the characters over time? They just get better.
Yeah, they just get better. Like even the frat one was super just like dry. Like he was just a frat guy that was like just doing weird things and stuff. He would have like I had made him have like a funny face, like a douchey face, and like mannerisms and like laugh and stuff. But like his overall like mindset would definitely change. Like he turned into this more like dramatic frat guy who like he like almost like pities himself, like in his weird little frat party world. He thinks like everything is like hard, but like he still is like so insensitive. But like frat guys really attach onto him. Like actually, I thought I was gonna be making fun of frat guys, which I really didn't want to, because I think frat guys, like the idea of it is really funny.
So did you have some exposure to frat guys? Were you in college or somewhere, or what was your? Not
really. Like I had some like frat friends, but like overall it was just like the image of fratty. Like I was just like, they drink a lot. They're like mean to girls, and like so he just uses the word slut like every like sentence, but he thinks it's like a nice way to say it. Like I want to find the slut for me, you know, like stuff like that, where it's like and he's just super like oh man, like blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what's really interesting is there's essentially 3 people that I like to watch, and what's odd is you all naturally came together, which is weird. I watch Andrew, people almost LAHWF. I watch you, but I've also watched Danny Duncan since he had 5,000 subs. I caught on to him really early. Like, how did you guys all come together? I mean, how did this all fall together where you just happened to be buddies with these other guys, and all you guys are like killing it virally with videos? How did you meet Danny? How did you meet LAHWF? How did you kind of get into this world?
So like I randomly like bumped into Andrew at like a Ralph's, and like it was super weird because like we both like seen each other's videos, and like it was right when I was starting YouTube. So like he saw our video and he was like, oh yeah, and then we just like hung out, and then like I asked him to like be a part of one of my videos, and then like he played like a cameo in one of my videos, and like it went really good, and then like I started CHERDLEYS. And so I kind of had to like start over, like getting subscribers and stuff, and then because I had like a prank channel before that, and then once I started CHERDLEYS, like we just like hung out a little bit more, like, and then like I told him to be in like another one of my videos, and then he had me in one of his, and like our style, like even though like we have like mine's way more like cinematic, his is more like on the street and stuff. And like awkward and stuff, like they both match so well still. They
do, and what's interesting is you actually take your characters in scripted form, and you enter his world not as you. You enter his world as Cheb.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really unique to think about that he, like when Andrew does his videos and he goes on, he doesn't go on as Chad. He goes on as Cheb.
Today Andrew's having a little episode today, so I'm going to be filling in for him. I'm very sorry. Do you know where the party's at?
Party?
Just where like the party's at.
What kind of party are you looking for, man? What kind of parties here?
Just like I like girls. I like strippers, and do you know like just where any of the parties at?
Yeah, there's one on the top floor up here, or if you just go that way, 2 blocks, you're good to go. There's just a couple parties to see up on the corner there. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
You're playing a prank on somebody, but you're also in full character playing this character, which is super interesting. You had a prank channel before, and a lot of people are moving away from the pranks because it's kind of been revealed that most of them are fake.
Exactly.
Why did you move away from the pranks?
It was a part of a channel that I didn't start, so and they're all there. They're all subscribers of like people that like that like rough stuff, you know. Like they wanted to see someone get like punched in the face.
Right. Yo, I'm just asking you. Do you want to kiss my ass?
Up, nigga. Back the fuck up, nigga.
I liked sketches, so I tried to incorporate sketches and characters into it.
Right.
And like it worked for a little bit and stuff, but like it still didn't feel right on that channel. So I just restarted onto CHERDLEYS, and now I could do like whatever I want.
Right.
And I still did a little bit of like on the street type stuff. Like I would mix sketches with like with like on the street and like messing with people a little bit, but like as the characters, to where like the people didn't realize that I was messing with them at all. Like even afterwards, if they even saw the camera, I would just be like, oh, we're taking pictures, and they'd be like, oh, okay, and like they would never question whether I was messing with them or a character.
Right.
They like believed like Cheb or like the frat guy as like a character. Yeah. And I even did the dad one with like a cell phone. And like people knew that one was fake because I had like a fake mustache on.
Yeah.
But like for a split second, they would think it's like real and like weird.
So you started shooting all these with the cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you were saying you got more you started using cinematography more. The camera angles, all that stuff, that you start realizing that impacts the way people are receiving this.
It totally does, yeah.
So that's one thing I don't think a lot of people know is like as you start getting better at this stuff, you have to really start focusing on so many different elements and making sure that all of them are right. You know what I mean? What got you focused on that? Was it just that you started watching it from the third person, you know, and saying, oh, you know what? I think it would be better if we went up close on that shot.
Yeah.
Or
I think there's two beautiful things with like cell phones and having like a nice camera, because like cell phones like had that whole like Vine feel, and like it was like really raw, and like it has like its purpose too, I think, and like a lot of people could make like their stuff really funny on like with just cell phones, but I started doing it on cell phones just because I didn't have the confidence to like have a filmer film it, because like I didn't know what I was doing yet.
Right.
And like so I'd film like this dad at Coachella video, and I didn't even tell any of my friends I was doing it, because like I was so like unconfident, and I didn't want them to think like, oh, he's gonna go and try and be funny now. So I would just like do it and like film myself, because like I didn't have a filmer that was like confident in it or anything like that. And then once like those did good, I started like developing a fan base. It was more like, oh, now I could have faith in these characters and like faith in like the comedic style to like have filmers and actors and stuff. And then I started taking like care of like, I just love like the Office style zooming. I love like soap opera type like camera movements and stuff like that. And just like I think the camera has so much of a story and like comedic impact. You know, like you watch The Office and you see like them zoom in on like Dwight or something.
Right.
And like that zoom in like right before he says the line is like so impactful.
Yeah. Which you do a lot with your stuff. Yeah. Especially with the Cheb character, you'll like with the music.
Yeah, the music and everything like is so important. It's like half the battle of like my videos.
You know, I didn't allow you to answer it earlier, but how did you meet Danny as well?
Yeah. So me and Andrew met, and then like we made videos, and then we started hanging out, and then Andrew made like a video or two, I think, with Danny, and then Danny was friends with Andrew's friend Luke Donahue.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we just like randomly hung out one day.
Just kind of through osmosis, the group of just meeting people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then like I just randomly met him, and then now we just like hang out randomly. He was in like one of my last videos and stuff.
Yeah, I saw the frat boy one with him. One.
Yeah.
Two. That shit's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
You know what's changed so dramatically, man, is this whole production with YouTube videos and just having social streaming media that's just connecting with fan bases. It'll get like 1 million views. That's like a whole new currency within and of itself. The views. I mean, sometimes people would work for free if they can just get their stuff viewed
that's
by
that's what
tons
I do.
of people.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, like, this whole world, you know, you hear these crazy stories of YouTubers, like, making millions of dollars, man. Just millions of dollars off videos. And then I heard this recent story of this Adtopia, or what was it called?
Adpocalypse or something, yeah.
And I know, like, all the advertising pulled because there was videos that were showing up on, like, KKK channels and things like that. Are there any other platforms besides YouTube that pay? Like, does Facebook pay? Does Twitter pay you? Or was YouTube the primary platform that people were getting paid on?
YouTube's still the primary platform. Facebook is in, like, I don't know what they're doing, but, like, they've been in, like, a beta stage for so long. And, like, they've paid, like, a few influencers. And they only do it for people like me, or, like, people that create their own stuff. I don't think they do it for meme pages maybe, but I'm not sure. That's just like from one source.
Okay.
But like I know they don't pay yet. But like
Facebook doesn't pay yet.
Facebook doesn't pay yet.
See, and your videos are bigger on Facebook than they're on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
they're way bigger.
So you're not loving that.
Yeah, so it's like a bittersweet. It's like dang it, I could be making like a really good living if like these were getting paid for, you know.
Yeah, because I see some of your videos like 4 or 5 million views on YouTube. Like, what's your highest views?
Like 7.5 million.
So that's crazy.
Saturdays for the Boys video, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. So has it gotten to the level yet now where, like, I would recognize you on the street if I was walking down. Do you get recognized by people yet? Is it to that point?
Yeah, I get recognized a few times, but like mostly when we're filming.
Yeah.
Because like because they don't really recognize me as a character.
I was gonna say, out of character, it's a different animal. It's always a different animal, especially
even like big fans won't recognize me, you know, because I'm just like in character or not in character.
Well, and your hair is different, and everything's way different.
Everything
when you're
looks
just
so
chilling.
different.
Yeah,
and it's kind of nice. Like the more I grow, it will still not feel like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he was older. I thought you were older than you were.
Oh, really?
When I saw you, I'm like going, oh, dude, you're young. For some reason, you look like
that character, man. That character comes off as way older.
Mid part and like facial weird expressions. Yeah.
So like, what are your goals? Like, you know, I would assume since you're acting that you would want to be an actor. Is that the ultimate goal?
Yeah, that's definitely the ultimate goal. Like I want to get like managers and like agents and stuff. And like actually the ultimate goal is a TV show for sure.
Okay.
Like I think that my style could be translated to like some Adult Swimmy type.
Yeah.
Like thing.
I think it'd be perfect for Adult Swim. That'd be a perfect place.
Yeah,
Totally.
and it works well on the internet, and it's like weird and like experimental.
Yeah.
A little bit, like it still like falls under some sort of like relatable like theme, but that's like my ultimate goal for sure.
Well, and you're accomplishing. Look, as an artist and a filmmaker myself, you're accomplishing something that's very, very difficult, which is to be original.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the hardest things to find, is to have a thing that you do.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you there is no other Cheb or CHERDLEYS out there, man. I mean, it's really, really cool stuff, man.
Yeah, it's hard to do that too, to like develop and like create that stuff. Like right when I was going into it, and like my first few videos were doing good, I was like, what is my like thing? Like,
right.
And I was like stressing about it, and then I just kept making them until it like developed. And like every time like one would do good, I would like pull something from that. Yeah. And then like morph it into something. Now it has like a strict guideline.
I went through the same thing for years as a filmmaker. And it wasn't until Paranormal where I found what I do. You know,
it's a lot of hours of work.
It was. And up until like this film, well, what I found that I was doing, it's the same thing if you ever written music, is you have a really bad habit of naturally copying what you love.
Yeah.
Most artists do that because that's what's cool, right? And then you start realizing, man, but that's not me. You know? And you got to figure out what it is that you do. You know what I mean? And that's a tough battle for an artist to get to. And when you get to it, usually they know it because it starts working. You know what I mean? And I think your stuff has been working. You know?
I've definitely taken bits and pieces from things.
Yeah.
You know, like
everybody borrows.
Everyone borrows from everything, and like it's just even like Wes Anderson, who you think has like his own world, like he still borrows from like old directors and everywhere. You know, like
there's no
Quentin
way
Tarantino
not to.
only borrows, and I think it's great. Yeah.
Well, how do you not? You watch stuff you love.
Yeah, you watch stuff you love. So how can you? Yeah,
we were talking about this earlier. So like when you throw all this stuff out there, obviously the internet is built and made for like almost a lot of negative comments as well as positive.
Yeah.
But when you're throwing yourself out there creatively, a lot of people don't realize that's, you know, especially when you don't know if something's going to work or not, and then you get a bunch of just, this sucks, you're whatever, you know. How do you take that? I mean, are you immune to it now, or?
I'm pretty immune to it now. I do take everything with like a grain of salt, and like my fan base is pretty nice, like I would say, and like usually when like there is like a hate comment, it's or like if a hate comment, it's usually like constructive almost. And like I usually like kind of agree. Like I do see random ones like, you're not funny, like you're doing this and this wrong. And they're like, I push those aside like immediately. It's the ones that I kind of like, I feel that they're true. Those are the ones that kind of hurt the most. And like I'm like, okay, well, I think they have like a point, you know.
Right.
And like like if I have been doing something over and over and it's getting boring, like someone will say that and I'll be like, yeah, I think I agree.
Huh.
But like there are like random hate ones that are like really funny and dumb, and it's just it's hard at first to like shoo them away, and like you kind of have to have like some sort of like different personality to like kind of get through that, or like you have to like develop that skill to get through.
And the thing is,
comments,
the more that you respond to them, the more that they come. And
Yeah.
that's what I realized a long time ago, is just that I know exactly what you mean, because at the end of the day, you're so critical on yourself. You know what you do.
Yeah.
You know your weaknesses.
Yeah.
So it does suck when someone puts a finger on it. You're like, ooh, god damn, I don't want to read that. You know what I mean? But the thing with the web too is like 99% of the time, man, their biggest online haters are actually your biggest fans. They're following every damn thing
It's
you
really
do.
true, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've seen that where like people are just total dicks, and then you find out they bought a front row ticket to your show, and you're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what? I thought you hated me. So I totally get that. Well, what's we're gonna take a break here in a second, but what's the future of CHERDLEYS? Like, what is happening immediately, and where do you want to be like in 5 years? You might have already answered this. Is the TV series is kind of the goal here?
Yeah.
Long term, short term, what are we going to see in the next 6 months from you?
New characters?
Yeah, like I do want to do new characters. I always think Cheb's gonna just be the overall character. I do want to like add more, but it is kind of scary at this point, because like they've all grown to love these 3 characters.
Yeah.
And like they're so developed that it's like hard to like throw out a new character that's like underdeveloped.
Yeah.
Because that's like where this channel started, was like with these underdeveloped 3 characters, and then they kind of developed. So no one really saw them when they were underdeveloped. But I do want to like try to incorporate some sort of new characters, especially with like the TV show or just even this. Like I want Cheb to be like the main one, but I want random ones throughout even the same sketch to like be involved in stuff.
Right.
And like whether that be like cool little transitions that look seamless, to like make it look like these characters are in the same world, you know. That's kind of what I want to do.
Real quickly, what about independent film stuff? You ever been approached or interested in acting in an indie film?
With like another director or something. Yeah, I would love to. Like I definitely want to get past the YouTube stage and start making like films and like be in TV and stuff. Like I definitely love directing and writing, but I do want to like do like acting and other stuff too. I think that would be totally fun. And like even whatever character they develop around me would be great too.
Well, last question before we go to break here, and then we come back. We're gonna bring you down the rabbit hole, and we're gonna talk to you about some weird stuff.
Oh yeah!
But you had the chance last night to come into our world and kind of see what we do.
Good stuff.
What did you think of Sir No-Face for the people out there that haven't seen it, and somebody that's not really even in this world, just walking in? What was your and dude, feel free to rip on me if you didn't like it. It's like, what did you think of the film? What did you think of the experience?
I liked it. It's fun to see you guys like, arguing on the phone or like, are you sure?
Yeah.
That stuff's always going to be fun. Drama, We all love drama.
Yeah, and it's definitely fun. Built up where you're taking that like, a lot of people don't know that when they come to it, that it is very much kind of like a mystery.
Yeah, mystery.
And you're figuring that out as it's going on. You know what I mean? Combined with this crazy footage.
It's not just look at what we found.
Yeah.
Or like,
Well, it's cool. It's cool that you can appreciate that part of it, because I always say that I never try to make films for my base, because you got them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
try to make films that reach way beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was one of the main reasons I was excited for you to come, is because this just isn't your world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
totally.
If you dug it, then I was like, okay, we'll be good. But we'll leave it here because I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
I was just interested to see what you thought of it.
Yeah,
man, a lot of people haven't seen it.
Yeah,
so
a lot of people.
You have. So there you go. We get CHERDLEY's. We get his thumbs up review, which is good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, cool, man. We're going to take a break real quick. And Ginger Steve is going to take us down the rabbit hole. We come back with more Paramerican Radio.
Paramerican Radio will be right back after this commercial break with even more dope-ass shit.
6 hours ago, a guy that I befriended about a year ago named Craig Powell sent me several pieces of film of events, strange things that he captured. The reason I'm so tired right now is because I have watched this footage for 6 hours straight. I Either Craig and his team have pulled off one of the most advanced, complex hoaxes that the paranormal field has ever known, or the footage that I'm looking at, if this footage is real, and I will find out if it is, then Craig has definitively proven that ghosts exist.
You believe in ghosts?
I believe that there is strange stuff out there. Whether you want to call it a ghost, a spirit, I don't know what they are. That's what we're trying to figure out.
So whether you believe it or you're a skeptic, when spooky things happen, who are you going to call? This guy, Ghost Hunter Craig Powell from Western Sydney Paranormal Research. G'day, Craig.
On February 22nd, 2013, the Australian government emailed civilian Craig Powell with an unusual request.
So you're out there debunking ghost claims?
Well, we try to. We always look for a rational explanation before we look into the paranormal stuff.
Due to countless ghost sightings reported on the government-owned grounds of Sydney Harbour's Cockatoo Island, Powell was offered unlimited, around-the-clock access to the island in order to conduct an extensive paranormal investigation to determine if past claims of paranormal activity could be discounted or substantiated.
I need to be in that situation. I need to be there. I need to know the surrounding environment. What we need to do is we need to be on site and we need to have a look at it properly for ourselves.
Interested in the paranormal claims and aware of Cockatoo Island's dark past as a convict prison, Powell accepted the offer to lead his team in what would become the first paranormal investigation in history to be officially sanctioned by the Australian government.
What we're trying to do is figure out what it is, why it's happening, how it happens, why some people see it, why some people don't see it.
The WSPR investigation would last nearly 2 years, in which the activity experienced and the evidence captured would change the lives of all involved forever. As Powell and his team were unaware from the onset of the investigation that someone, something, an entity was waiting for them.
Same things, but it was at exactly the same time. Oh, fuck! Jesus Christ!
An entity that allowed its voice to be heard. An entity that would reveal its own name. An entity that on countless occasions allowed its unique abilities to be filmed.
Oh, Jesus!
Thanks, sir. That was
awesome. That was really bright.
There were no shadows. It didn't cast shadows when it flashed. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen with my own eyes.
And before the investigation came to a close, this entity did something completely unexpected. From only feet in front of a recording camera, the entity decided to show Craig and his team exactly what a ghost really looks like.
So the camera was actually sitting in this far corner, and just out through the door there is where this footage came from.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
What did you experience at Cockatoo Island?
I witnessed the lights.
You witnessed the lights?
Yes.
Okay, so you're
From the start.
telling me that you and a bunch of people sat in a room with no power, and
That's
the
correct.
room was lighting up?
Yes.
Okay. So, essentially when you say that I feel like I had a connection, you're talking about like you feel like you met a spirit out there and you formed a bond of some kind.
Yes.
Okay. You do understand this sounds fucking crazy.
To everybody else, I don't really care.
Do you believe this is a ghost doing this?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have zero fraction of doubt in your mind.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the team?
5 years.
So you know these guys well?
Yeah, I know them really well. I know them really well. Too well.
No chance anybody on your team faked it?
If I ever believe that one of our team members faked it, I'll throw them off the fucking balcony.
Really?
Nah. Why would we go out and do that?
Are you guys paid?
No.
Would you guys like to get paid?
Well, it'd be nice.
Sure. There's just so many reasons to hoax. There's so many reasons to hoax.
Give me a good one.
Make your life better.
Why?
It could bring fame, fortune.
And look, and it could, but you know, there's been times where our kids have missed out on stuff because we've put money in towards Whisper. We can't go on holidays because we've got
all
Whisper.
great reasons to hoax.
No, but this just goes to, yeah, it could be, but you know, we all have our paid jobs and then there's the love job.
What do you think's on that film?
I think it's the spirit of someone.
My neighbor is the best software animator. He is the guy that's hired to create Transformers. As one of the elite animators working in Hollywood today, Patterson specializes in computer-generated imagery, also known as CGI. Routinely hired as a senior animator on major studio feature films with budgets in excess of $100 million, Patterson's understanding and ability to digitally manipulate film is amongst the best in the world. Here's a few examples of films you may know that feature Patterson's CGI work and abilities.
There were many changes. Some you could see, some you couldn't. Hair had started growing in all sorts of places.
So he can take that footage, and he can tell me without a shadow of a fucking doubt if that has been fucked with, if it's fake or anything else.
Do you know what? I've been waiting for someone to say that, man, because I don't have the ability to do that myself.
I do.
Well, let's do it.
Don't fret, precious, I'm here. Step away from the window and go back to sleep.
You have a team full of people who are almost near tears saying the whole experience changed their life.
If they're all lying, they have fucking Marlon Brando acting skills. You know, I mean, like, everything you're taught as a team, right, as a ghost hunter, they did everything right. And the reason you're taught these things is because these things, if you film something like that, the protocol will lead you to proof and not evidence. These guys followed the protocol. This is the most definitive ghost evidence and ghost case that will ever be presented. There is nothing else I could think of that even compares to this.
Thanks, sir. And we are back with more Paramerican Radio. It's been a minute, Steve, but it is time for you to take Justin, I, and CHERDLEYS down the rabbit hole. What is weird in the world? Talk to me. What's going on?
All right. So I don't know if you heard about this. This is from actually 34 years ago.
Okay.
But the Australian skeptics have a $100,000 prize for anyone that could show proof that they can read minds, see the future, or talk to the dead. And if you haven't heard of the Australian skeptics, it's a collection of comedians, magicians, and I believe...
Mentalists?
Scientists.
Okay. So basically they don't believe in psychics. That's
Right.
the deal.
Exactly.
And is that still standing today, the 100,000?
Right, exactly. Well, it's trending right now in the news. That's why I brought it up.
Huh.
And this was from 34 years ago, and still not a single person can prove it
Well,
to
you
them.
know what's so funny, but that like my reputation is for not believing in psychics either. I shouldn't say not. I believe it's possible, but when I was on Paranormal State, I worked with them all the time, and how they would do the psychic walkthrough segment is they would take them into the house for like an hour, and they would just be guessing nonstop, just throwing every thought in their mind out, which of course over an hour you're going to hit 5 things that are right.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would edit it together like they were just fucking machine gun on fire, and they weren't. You know what I mean? And I used to literally laugh and say, they could bring me through the psychic walkthrough and I'll just start guessing. I'll look like a genius when this thing's cut together.
Right. But remember what we were talking about on tour? You said that you believe the governments have a group of people like the X-Men that do have abilities like that So I was thinking that maybe no one's came up to them, not because they don't exist, but because they get either better pay from somewhere else, they have better benefits, they don't want to be experimented on.
Well, this conversation came up because we were talking about, do you remember the TV show Stan Lee's Superhumans? Stan Lee, the great, cartoon writer, Spider-Man, Superman, he had this show called Superhumans, and it was like people that can do crazy shit. Like this one guy, the record for holding your breath, I want to say it was like, I could be way off here, but it was something like 5 minutes or something like that. And then out of the blue, this guy comes on that literally does it for like 19 minutes and smashes the record. And they find out that there's like weird chemical things in his body that are happening where he's drawing oxygen from his blood. And at one point his lungs stopped and it just switched over. Like, I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? There was this when you dive into deep water, you have to come up and then let the nitrogen leave your system, right? And then come up, let the nitrogen leave your system, or else you get the bends. They discovered this guy on Stanley Superhumans that could go like 300 feet down and fire right to the top without any issue. And his body just worked differently. And it was basically an abnormality in the human condition that he can do this. That one guy they call the Iceman that can just sit in like freezing cold water and can literally say, all right, I'm going to raise my body temperature now. Close his eyes and his body temperature will raise in the water. So what I said to him is, I wouldn't be surprised at all if our government had a collection of these guys that can do really special shit. You know what I mean? Because we know for a fact that our government was doing the Men Who Stare at Goats. They were doing all kinds of astral projection experiments to determine people who could read and see things in other countries. So why wouldn't they have a team of people that can do really special shit? I know that sounds like a great fodder for a movie, but like...
It does.
You know what I mean? Fuck it, it just sounds like totally cool, I mean, have you ever like wondered, like this is on a very basic level, but why the fuck is Michael Jordan on a different level than every other human being? You know what I mean? Like, he used to watch him play, and literally it was just like, this is a joke. This dude's playing with children.
Like,
you know what I mean?
It's almost a will, though. His will. Like, he could connect his will through his physicality to make what he wanted happen.
And maybe that's one of those X-Men powers. He has super will. You know what I mean? He can will something to happen, Have you ever met those dudes in life? It just seems like whatever they want, they can get.
Yeah.
It just seems like shit just happens for them. Whatever it is, they can get it.
I'm always amazed of like those extroverted type of people that could just walk up anywhere and like woo a crowd and like that,
Right, right.
Like one of my friends is like, well, watch me, and like goes up to like these people and just like starts talking, and then there's like start laughing, and I'm like, how do you do that? And you can just do it to anyone, or like people that like randomly will brighten a room just by like being there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
What is it about
How
them?
are you? Yeah.
Now, do you feel introverted, or are you more of an extrovert? Because it's weird, because you're an actor and you do things publicly. Are you like introverted as a person?
I feel like I have introverted moments, but I like realized this last month that I'm actually really extroverted, and like I love being around people. But I do have like, I do get like social anxiety sometimes, or like stuff like that. I think everyone gets like, I think there's like, it's a spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely more extroverted.
But I know what you mean. Someone have that power. Some people just have that power to take over a room, and whatever they want to get out of that room, they can get out.
Shepherds, man. That was what that was all about, right?
Yeah,
those
are
a
documentary about cult leaders,
too.
right?
Yeah, they're crazy like that. Yeah.
And what's really weird, I did this documentary about the one connecting thing between Marshall Applewhite, who did that was the Heaven's Gate cult, and
the Speedo guy.
The guy with
Speedo guy. Yeah, he wore Speedo.
Yeah. Him, Uncle Charlie, David Koresh, and Jim Jones. The one common thing they all had, they understood the power of music. They were all incredible musicians. Marshall Applewhite was a vocal coach at Colorado.
Manson, too.
Manson almost got a freaking record deal to the Beatles. David Koresh was an incredible guitar player and played music as a... Now, although Jim Jones wasn't a musician, he recruited... Whenever he would do his recruitment things, he would have massive choirs out, and they'd all be singing, and they all knew that there was something about music that could transform a crowd to where they would listen to a message.
Yeah.
And they would use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the leading theory behind Stonehenge right now, too. That's what it was used for, is the reason that they're placed how they are is because of the sound vibration. It would put people in a certain trance, and they would do like sacrifices or rituals.
Well, it's one music is the universal language, man. No matter where you're at in the world, every culture in the world has found an importance of music.
Yeah.
And they've always attached to it.
Sound
so the
waves,
people
man.
that use that as a weapon, it's incredible. You know what I mean? So, but as far as this psychic thing goes, I'd have to see the rules because it was just like Randy's thing. They eventually retired James Randy's $1 Million Challenge because it was set up where it was unwinnable. I mean, it started with something has to be a constant. Nothing in life with people are a constant. If you're talking about spirits, you're talking about people, right? So just say I saw a ghost once in that corner. Randy would say, if you didn't see it every day at the same time at that time, then we can't do a scientific experiment to determine if it's real. So therefore it's fake.
What was his challenge? Just like
he had James Randi. If you can prove that you've have any kind of paranormal ability, or if you've captured anything paranormal, you would win $1 million. But it was set up to where you couldn't win it. So no one.
Captured anything paranormal too?
Right. And you could prove that it was paranormal.
Well, that just means something that doesn't happen in day-to-day life. So that's like kind of like it doesn't make sense to me. How can something happen consistently? Then it wouldn't be paranormal.
You're describing why no one went to try to get to that. That's why I was eventually retired, because people were like, this is stupid. You know what I mean? So, all right, what else you got, man?
So this next one is the director of The Exorcist.
William Friedkin. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And he asked a real exorcist if he can sit in and film one of his exorcisms. And he did. And William actually made a documentary surrounding this.
Oh, wow.
And he showed this footage to neurologists, to scientists, to, a lot of people in the medical field, and they could not explain what was going on. They said that there's... If they were to get taken to the emergency room acting like that, they wouldn't know what to do. There's no operation they can make. There's no medication that they can give them. One of the things that was happening was what you described to me, if you've seen American Ghost Hunter, was there was a voice coming out of her that wasn't coming out of where your
They're
regular
speaking
voice.
through a different part of the
Right,
larynx.
exactly.
This is very common. This was also recorded in the Enfield case, which is The Conjuring 2. There is footage, real footage, of the real girl in the Enfield case speaking in that voice. You can watch it on YouTube.
Why do you think he comes and speaks through you?
To annoy us.
Does he ever say anything nice?
Well, don't know really.
Shall we try and speak to him? No. We'll see if he'll speak to us.
Yeah.
Is anybody there?
No.
Who's there?
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Ghost Chasers here.
Mr. Gross, a lot of people, hearing these voices produced by the children, will simply say that they are very good ventriloquists and that this is all a hoax. How would you react to that?
Certainly not. They're certainly not very good ventriloquists. We have had tests on them to see whether they can ventriloquize. They can't. To keep up this particular type of voice for any length of time without damage to the vocal cords is absolutely impossible. I mean, there must be some hoarseness attached to it. But don't forget, these children don't do this for a couple of minutes or so. They do it for lengths of periods up to 3 hours, and without any hoarseness or sore throats whatsoever.
Well, perhaps you've got something to say to them.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how you make this noise without bashing Janet's vocal cords to pieces. If I do it for half a minute, I get a sore throat.
The same thing happened where the doctors were like, they're using a part of the larynx that human beings don't use to speak. And that's where the second voice was coming out of.
That's crazy.
This has been reported in tons of demonic cases. You ever notice whenever we do live events, I don't get into detail about demonic cases and talk about it?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, there's no way I can get you to understand. You would have to be there to see the level of intelligence and flat out bizarre shit that is going on constantly. It's the most terrifying thing you've ever been a part of. And it's kind of like, man, the same reason like people don't want to talk about childhood like abuse stories because it almost allows it to live. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why I don't like talking about those cases, because like it's terrifying when you're really a part of it, and it sets in that like your worst nightmares of what you thought this would be are what it is, and it's real, and you want to get out now and you don't get to leave. Like you just don't get to be a spectator to it. You're going to be a part of whatever's going on. And yeah, there's weird stuff, and I'm not surprised by that at all, because doctors for a long time have been looking at people that say they're possessed and don't know what the fuck's going on with them.
Yeah, what do they do when like they get taken to the hospital in that form?
Nothing. I mean, yeah, that's Annalise Michelle.
Yeah.
You know, those two doctors, one was sentenced to jail and got out of it, and the other was eventually let free, but she died. I mean, that was the last, like, big case. And she got down to 76 pounds before she died, and they did something like over 60, performed 60 exorcists on her. And on YouTube, you could also, the voices of Annalise Michelle leaked. When you hear the voices coming out of her and the way she was screaming and yelling and the shit she was saying. Sound that way.
What do doctors do? Like, do they call a priest?
Opiates. Lots of opiates.
Yeah, to be honest, they just fucking medicate the fuck out of them to sedate them, because if they're awake, they just start hurting themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's what's crazy too, is they will carve with their hands, you know, bloody rip their flesh apart, but not be screaming in pain. Like if I started ripping into your flesh, you'd be screaming your fucking head off.
Yeah.
But yet they'll do it like stone cold and stare at you like when they do it. It's just like, what is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really creepy. But, you know, I say to people all the time, you don't got to believe in demons. You just got to believe in evil, right? This guy in Charlottesville that just got behind a car and just gassed it right through fucking how many people? What do you think possessed him at that time? That's not a normal human act, man. People don't do that shit unless something overtakes them, where they see it as a rational thing to do.
Right.
You know, it happens in everyday life. People see it all the time. They just don't recognize it for what it is.
Right. So like you're saying, like demons are negative energy.
It's just negative energy. Yeah, man. It's evil. There's good in the world, right?
Yeah.
There's evil in the world. It's
I wonder if you need to think, like, believe in like Satan or God, if like, you know.
See, I don't think you have to. I don't think it matters. I think you just got to believe in good and evil.
I think
you know what I mean?
It takes up whatever form your beliefs are.
Right. Remember, demonic, that's a Catholic thing. That's like legions and names and Balal, Beelzebub, and like all that shit. That's all. They're just describing what the shit that they've seen. You know what I mean? But it's just evil. It's just pure.
Which, by the way, one of the purposes of this documentary is to raise awareness about exorcism, because the Vatican still doesn't acknowledge it.
But they do. They meet every year in Pittsburgh.
They do around half a million exorcisms per year.
Yeah.
But they don't talk about it.
Of course.
They don't acknowledge publicly anyway.
Because unfortunately, they know that it's fucking sexy to people. Like, Hollywood loves it. Hollywood blasts it out there.
Frankie. Who are you? Il messaggero non è importante.
Are you an angel?
I am the first angel, loved once above all others. A perfect love. But like all true love, one day it withered on the vine.
I can't tell you how many people I know that want to get in the paranormal field, and what's the first thing they want to see? Dude, I want to work on demonic cases. Yeah. Because you want to see the crazy shit, but you don't realize that you're a part of the crazy shit once you're there, and that's that. So I'm not surprised that doctors are shocked at all. That's been going on for a long time, you know. So
yeah.
What else you got, man?
Have you heard of after big earthquakes, there are like strange lights in the sky?
Of course, I've witnessed it. Yeah, we did. I saw it in Iowa after the earthquake in San Francisco, we saw, they reported them as UFOs, and Iowa, they were lights in the sky.
Because that's what it looks like. Well, there was a 8.1 earthquake off the coast of Mexico, and check out these crazy lights that came up. I just think it's interesting because there's no specific explanation as to why, but I mean, it's
just
not aliens.
it's electromagnetic charges from the Earth, right?
Are they like directly up? Like
they're in the sky, and they could be in the clouds.
Horizon, you know?
Yeah, you can see them directly above you in the clouds.
Yeah,
they're not like weird like electrical things that just like.
It looks like it's like orb lightning. It's akin to low level. It looks like balls of light. The same night as the San Francisco earthquake that happened during the World Series in Iowa, my brother and I and my best friend we took like ninjutsu like classes when we were younger. We were driving and we saw them through the sky and we freaked out. We're like, oh my God, that's got to be like UFOs and all that stuff. And then it was on the news that they had different footage of it from all over the country, where when that happens, these electromagnetic reactions happen in the atmosphere.
Well, there's a lot of.
Then it started being recorded. There's tons of those videos all over the world after earthquakes happen, where those exact videos are out there.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, Tesla was working on all kinds of stuff. He was working on the idea of actually everything being powered out of just the atmosphere, supercharging the atmosphere, right? We're electrical. So, I mean, when you start connecting all these things about what the Earth is, everything else, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of things like that. I think my dad is the one who said he saw one going across the field. It was like, it looked like a ball, like it was going, and then it went away.
Шаровая молния.
And then if it were to actually have gotten to the point where it went, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what would be awesome if we can harness energy from the Earth from faults, because when earthquakes happen, it rubs together and that creates electricity. I wonder if there's a way to like be able to harness that one day. You know, from like one 8.0 earthquake, we can power the world for like a year or two.
Steve's on 8.21 gigawatts. Steve's on some whole other shit right now, man. Well, cool. Let's wrap this up by talking a little bit about how can people get a hold of you? How can people see what you're doing? How can people subscribe to your channel? What are your channels?
CHERDLEYS, just all around the board. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's CHERDLEYS. It's always annoying to say to people.
Also, I want to talk about this really quickly because you have the best outro of any YouTuber in history. And explain to people what this is.
That like started right when the channel was coming about. I was just filming my ex on the my girlfriend at the time on a green screen, and then I was just like, oh, let's do she was just filming something, and I was like, oh, let's do like an outro. I don't know, just like keep saying subscribe, and like she did it. She doesn't act like that in real life, but like she just did it in like a stereotypical like she's Vietnamese, but she did it in like a stereotypical like Asian way, and like she's in like an Asian dress, and like she's like subscribe, just like over and over again.
But she's saying subscribe wrong half the time too. She's saying like subscribe.
Dude, it's perfect, man.
It's the funniest shit ever.
Subscribe to CHERDLEYS, I like it. Subscribe, CHERDLEYS.
It got stuck in my head like a jingle to a freaking commercial.
I still use it even though we're broken up. I don't even care.
That's crazy, man. Has she ever asked you not to use it?
No, I don't think so. No. Did we talk about that? Tinder Steve is my filmer now.
Oh, yeah. Tinder Steve is his filmer. He's freaking moonlighting on us. And he's cheating on us. And,
is that cheating? Yeah. That's why it feels so good. Huh?
It's funny. I filmed with these other YouTubers, and they said the same exact thing when I told them that I'm filming you. They're like, "What? So like, we're not good enough for you?"
That just means I get a back door into CHERDLEYS set, which I'm going to be on his set this Tuesday, tomorrow, baby, to see
filming
him
with
film.
Danny, I think, maybe.
Cool. So I will Instagram from there and tweet from there, and I look forward to seeing you in action, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be fun.
And I will film actually some of that footage as well to include it in this podcast episode too.
Time, man.
So we'll be looking for it, man. Thanks for spending time with us. I mean, obviously, I know this is a different format, but that's what we want to do on this.
This is the weird shit. It's the good shit.
Right. We want to bring
Love
people
the
in and
weird
have
shit.
them just start talking about the weird shit in the world because it's fun to talk about, man.
It
so
is.
thanks for being on the show, dude.
Yeah, thanks
We're gonna
for
drag
having
your
me, of
roommate
course.
in here if we got to kick his ass and throw him in that chair and get Mr. Laughlin here. We might even backhand Danny Duncan when we see him and get him in here as well too.
There you go.
But in the meantime, watch Cherdleys, man. Truthfully, I believe one of the most talented people on the web, man. I'm not just saying it because you're here. I truly loved your shit before I ever met you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it. It's awesome, man. Keep going, dude. Keep going. And we will see you guys next time on Paramerican Radio. Steve, Justin, and Cherdleys say goodbye.
Subscribe.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.